Okay, let's talk about the three ossicles. And these are the three ossicles found within the ear, and these are found within the kind of like the middle ear. So they're found within the middle ear. We've already talked about the external ear, but we're going to start to talk about the middle ear based on these ossicles and their relations. Excuse me. So here are your ossicles. Remember, your ossicles are M-I-S. We have malleus, we have incus, and we have stapes. Okay, that's how it's spelled, yep. Okay, let's talk about the general anatomy first. So the malleus, remember, let's first talk about the analogy. Malleus was the person with the handle. He was the one standing behind the tympanic membrane, Malleus had his handle or his hand on the umbo, and he was going to open the door, and he had the handle for the door. So he had the handle for the tympanic membrane, and so the malleus has a handle which is attached to the tympanic membrane, and it also had a head of malleus. Now the head of malleus was resting on the incus, so actually the head of the malleus articulates with the incus. So here would be where the head of the malleus would go. Okay, now it looks like malleus has a big nose here, but I didn't draw that in my analogy. Okay, remember malleus the man, and that reminds you that malleus does indeed have a manubrium. Now it's not here, but I think it's the body of the malleus. Now, the malleus has a handle, a head, and the malleus rests its head on the incus. Okay, done. Now, we can talk about the incus in a bit, and then... so malleus is wearing his favorite slippers, and those slippers are supposed to represent stapes. Stapes, the third ossicle. Now, stapes then comes in contact and knocks on the oval window. So in terms of sound transduction and how sound is transferred and how the vibrations are carried out, this step of the stapes tapping the oval window is crucial for the mechanics of the sound transduction. Now, obviously it doesn't look like that. Stapes is the slipper. The memory cue is the slipper. And malleus is wearing the slipper, but I don't think they actually come into contact like this. So stapes comes into contact, and he taps his foot and presses hard against the oval window, which is malleus is standing on a big oval window. I don't know why I drew that. Okay, malleus is standing on a big oval window. Now, underneath the oval window, we have two gatekeepers, and these gatekeepers are responsible for monitoring and controlling the level of sound and the level of noise that we hear, because sometimes sound noises can be really high. So to prevent dangers of over noisy situations, we have gatekeepers, and these are our two muscles. You have TT, the first gatekeeper, and you have stapedius, the second gatekeeper. And they look kind of different. TT looks tall and slim, and then stapedius is like big and... Okay, anyway, we have these gatekeepers. They're responsible for controlling how the sound is transduced and how it's carried out. So stapes does tap on the oval window, but then after that the vibrations are controlled by tensor tympani. The muscle here is called tensor tympani, and the muscle here is called stapedius. By the way, stapedius goes, it's kind of like a longish muscle, and it's not that long, but long for the ear. It goes and it attaches kind of to where the stapes is. So stapedius and stapes go together. Okay, that's the whole story. Fave slippers. Why is he wearing his fave slippers? Because the stapes is in contact with fenestrata vestibuli. So F and V are supposed to remind you of fenestrata vestibuli. Okay, let's go to the actual anatomy of it. Here's your malleus. Your malleus has a lateral process and an anterior process. A handle of malleus, remember, that attaches to the tympanic membrane. A neck of malleus, a head of malleus. Now the head of malleus rests on the incus, and there's your incus articulation. If we go over to the incus here on the incus you can see your malleus articulation. Now, like we had a lateral process, anterior process, the incus has a short limb and a long limb. Okay, There you go, stapes attached to the region of fenestrata vestibuli. Okay. Now, stapes actually looks a bit like a weird kind of like handle or like a kitchen appliance. That's what stapes is. And you have a base of stapes, and you have an anterior limb and a posterior limb, and you also have a head of stapes. So, alright, the slipper has a head, an anterior limb and a posterior limb, and a base. Okay, review that. In terms of what this is here, I'm just going to quickly point out that in the middle ear, we have these ossicles, but we also have a eustachian tube, and I've drawn a mustache and a face, but there's no nose, and the nose is over here. So the eustachian tube connects us to the nasopharynx. It connects the middle ear to the nasopharynx. Okay.